You think she doesn't miss you because she's silent, but silence isn't always indifference. Sometimes it's restraint, sometimes it's pride, sometimes it's a quiet war between emotion and ego. And you're feeling the fallout. You're sitting there replaying the last conversation, reading between messages that were never sent, checking her socials like it's a heartbeat monitor, just hoping to find a pulse. And the thought that keeps you stuck is simple. If she missed me, she would just say it. Sounds logical, but it's wrong, because people don't always act honest, even when they feel honest. Not when pride is involved, not when attachment is involved, not when there's something to lose. So listen carefully. Here's the truth most men never understand. When a woman misses you, but won't admit it, her behavior becomes a contradiction. She'll reach without reaching. She'll signal without speaking. She'll test without committing. And if you don't understand that, you'll fall into one of two traps. You'll either chase like a desperate man or react like a wounded one. Both cost you. So let's break this down the right way. First, the misconception. If she misses me, she'll communicate clearly. That's fantasy. That's the version of relationships that sounds nice, but destroys men in reality. Here's the hard truth. She can miss you and still stay silent. She can miss you and still refuse to give you that validation. She can miss you and still question if you're right for her. She can miss you and still want control. That's emotional conflict. And when you don't understand emotional conflict, you lose your center. One moment you feel hope, the next moment you feel rejected. Back and forth until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. So why does this happen? Because vulnerability feels dangerous. Admitting I miss you puts her in a position where you could ignore her, reject her, or worse, gain the upper hand. And if she's prideful, hurt, or needs control, she'd rather stay silent than feel exposed. So instead of honesty, she sends signals, and signals are dangerous because they keep you emotionally hooked while she stays protected. Now pay attention. Here are the real signs she misses you, but won't admit it. Sign 1. She creates contact without real connection, a random message, an unnecessary question, an excuse that doesn't really matter. Hey, do you remember that place? I saw this and thought of you. It looks small, but it's intentional. That's a test. She's checking if you're still there, without risking anything real. And most men fail right here. They get excited. They overinvest. They start proving themselves again. But a man with self-respect, he doesn't treat crumbs like a full meal. He stays grounded. Sign 2, she stays in your orbit without direct contact. She watches your stories. She shows up in familiar spaces. She stays close, but never commits. That's not coincidence, that's attachment. Without accountability, she misses the feeling you gave her, but she doesn't want to surrender control. And if you accept that, you become an option, not a priority. Sign 3, she rewrites the past without admitting emotion. She says things like, I've been thinking. We both made mistakes. Maybe things could have been different. It sounds mature, but look deeper. That's emotion, hiding behind logic. Because saying, I miss you, requires vulnerability. So instead, she circles around it. Now here's where most men get it wrong. They think, if she misses me, that means I should go back. No. Her missing you is not the prize. Your standards are the prize. Your peace is the prize. Your self-respect is the prize. Because the truth is, you can be missed by the wrong person, and it will still cost you everything. So reframe it. Her missing you doesn't mean she deserves access to you again. It just means there's emotional residue, and residue is not a relationship. The man who handles this right is different. He's calm, not cold. He doesn't chase clarity, he becomes it. He doesn't react to words, he watches behavior. If she reaches out, he responds with composure. He doesn't overinvest, he doesn't lose focus, because his life doesn't pause for mixed signals. So here's what you do. Stop treating signals like promises. Stop rewarding unclear behavior with your time, attention, and energy. If she reaches out, match the energy, but don't exceed it. Be respectful, be grounded, be brief. And if you're open to something again, require clarity early. Ask, what do you actually want? Not, do you miss me? One puts you in control, the other puts you beneath her. And here's the deeper truth most men avoid. You're not always missing her. You're missing how she made you feel. That validation, that emotional high, that's not love. That's dependency. And dependency will make you accept anything. So remember this, if she misses you but stays silent, that's her internal conflict. But it's not your responsibility to fix it. Your responsibility is to not lose yourself in the process. Because the moment your life revolves around her uncertainty, you lose your power. And here's how you know what's real. Clarity feels calm, confusion feels addictive. So choose calm, choose discipline, choose self-respect. She might miss you deeply, but if she can't meet you with consistency and respect, it doesn't matter. Because missing is a feeling, respect is behavior, and you build your life on behavior, not feelings. You're not the man who waits. You're not the man who begs. You're the standard. You're the boundary. And when you move like that, one of two things happens. She either comes back correctly or she disappears completely. Either way, you win because you didn't lose yourself.